How's it going? Welcome to another video on my channel. I know these are becoming more and more less frequent. I get it. But if you saw my last video, you already know why that is. And I wanted to give an update on all that. And I want to thank everyone that's reached out, whether it be comments, DMs, texts, whatever. It does not go unnoticed. I do appreciate it. So I just want to say thank you for that first. Let's start off with the health thing directly, because that's kind of the thing that I get asked about the most. I did have some imaging. That was a couple of weeks ago. I do have one more imaging thing I got to do. And then that should be everything the doctor needs to see, and then they can fully tell me where we're at. But based off the last imaging that they got, they say my pulmonary embolism has been resolved. So that is good to hear. Very thankful for that. And despite my own absolute terrible attempts at just eating garbage because I've been depressed, sitting around, not moving about when I'm not working and going places, you know, pretty much just sitting around. I almost feel like it, not like I don't know that it's intentional, but, you know, like sitting around just waiting to die, because, you know, when you think about, like, what I went through with the hospital and that whole thing going down, it was kind of unexpected. It really took the wind out of my sails in life in general. And I think for many times, and maybe I was afraid to say it in the last video, but I felt like in a lot of ways I was just sitting around waiting to die, because I came out of the hospital, I wasn't the same. Some of the things I talked about in the last video. But since that last video, I have, you know, worked on things, or attempted to work on things, and I feel like I've made a little bit of progress in all that department, all the stuff mentioned. Like, I feel like, you know, trying to make attempts to do stuff, you know, like, for instance, I'm gonna constantly switch hands here because it gets to be a pain in the ass holding this thing. So, like, for instance, you know, like, going to card shows with my wife has been a lot of fun. It's her story to tell, but I'm super proud of her. She's been selling Pokemon cards on Whatnot. She's been collecting cards. She's been selling cards. And I am so proud of her for everything she's done in that world. You know, I have obviously talked on this channel ad nauseum in the last few videos about, like, card selling, card collecting, and it's something that I enjoy to do. I am, you know, kind of collecting more than I'm selling right now, because I think there's a lot of cool stuff that I've got that I think is, you know, some holds versus selling. But, you know, when I get something liquid like a Caitlin Clark, it's got to go. I got to get rid of it. And, yeah, so I'm collecting some cards, I'm selling some cards, and I enjoy that process. But nothing makes me more happier than, you know, going to a card show with my wife and watching her do her thing. Like, I even joke around, I'm like, God, baby, like, you're turning me on here with all this card selling. You got these cards. Sorry, I got a little allergy thing going on. But I'm like, man, you got these cards, you're selling. I'm like, man, you know, it's like talking dirty or something, you know. It's it really brings a smile to my face to see her taking up this new activity since, you know, the beginning of the year, and just slowly but surely, you know, building on it. And I'm so proud of her. So that brings me a lot of joy. I got to give a shout out to my best friend. He took me to the beach for my birthday. I did just turn 43 I think it's about 2 weeks ago now. My math is never good on this stuff. And I'll explain why I'm moving in a car here in a moment too. I just realized I didn't talk about that yet either. But he took me to the beach for my birthday. He's an amazing person. I do not know how I would live my life without my best friend. He is, I feel like he gets me. much like my wife does. He really understands me, and, you know, he asks a lot of great thought-provoking questions that help me to process where I'm at, much like I can do for him. And, you know, in that going to the beach for 4 hours, it's like, we're asking, you know, one of the things we always do when we go on little road trips, or even when we just hang out, like if it's just getting food and coming back and watching a wrestling event or something, like even those, like, we're constantly asking each other questions that just, you know, provoke the mind to think differently. Because I think, generally speaking, me, you, him, whoever watching, we are programmed in our own way to think a certain way, to act a certain way, and until somebody comes along and kind of like asks questions and says, well, hey, what about this, or what about that, or what do you think about this, and then you're like, whoa, I never thought of that. And so it does help. And so I do genuinely appreciate the time we have, and the beach trip was a lot of fun. I have to give a shout out to my man DJ Bobby O. He is an incredible DJ, literally the best DJ that I've ever personally met and heard and seen and all that stuff. Like, there's this nightclub in Ocean City, Maryland called Secrets, and on the weekends he'd go in this room and he'd play like all 80s stuff. And to just watch him like work, to watch him do his thing is just incredible, because, you know, getting to talk to him and kind of like hearing out his process, much like we talk about, like asking questions, figuring things out, but in a different way, like just asking him about his process, like, you know, kind of like observing like what he does and like why he picks the songs he does. He doesn't just have like a playlist laid out. He's adjusting on the fly based on the crowd reaction on the dance floor. Now, that may be general DJ knowledge to some of you, and I'll give you that, but that's something that I never knew. And so, you know, I figured people, they just play music, they throw it up and whatever. Maybe there are also some DJs that may not be as good that probably also do that very thing. They just sit there and they, you know, put on the music and they just let it go, and whatever happens, happens. But not Bobby. He is awesome. He just, you know, he adjusts on the fly. If he thinks something's not working, this dude will straight up flip right out of the 80s decade and will take you to like 2010 and throw like, you know, whatever, like some Calvin Harris or some shit, like, or like he did the night I was there, where, you know, he wanted to wake that crowd up, so like he went right into like some Britney Spears and the crowd just came alive. So it's fascinating to watch a guy like that do his craft, do his thing. And the reason why I'm just going on and on about this DJ at a club is because he's become a friend. Like, we were hanging out with him at the club. We had only met him like 3 other times before this, and this guy straight up invites us to his house. His girlfriend's there at the club, and they invite us to a cookout at his house the weekend we're at the beach. Like I said, dude has met us 3 times. Matter of fact, it's 4 if you count the night that he invited us to his cookout. And I think that speaks volumes to me. Like, this guy, again, only ever seen us 4 times. He saw us twice in 2023, once in 2024, now once in 2025. And somehow, like, not only does he remember us from those times after only seeing us once, but, you know, he's just really kind and says, hey, come hang out with us. Let's hang out. Let's talk. Let's learn about each other. You know, let's figure some stuff out. Like, you know, I took some photos for him last summer. I approached him remembering the amazing time that I had the year prior, and I said, hey, dude, like, I'm a photographer. I'm not a professional photographer by any means, but I'm a photographer. May I come to your set tonight? We went to the Secrets in the afternoon. He was spinning at the Bay, and we said, hey, man, like, may I come and take some photos for you? I don't want any money from you. I don't want anything from you. I just want the ability to take some photos, and I'm going to give them to you, and you can use them however the fuck you want. You want to put them on a poster, you want to put them on a flyer, you want to make digital content with it, I don't give a shit. Do whatever you want. But this guy puts on a great show. He gives me the access. He lets me take the photos. And then when we seen him this past, about 2 weeks ago, we realized that he remembers that I took photos with him. He remembers that very, very well. He's telling his girlfriend, hey, that's the guy last year that took those photos of me that I really liked. That made me feel very happy. And that is something, and we'll get into that as we unpack a little more in this video, but that is something that really I needed because, in many ways, there's a lot of stuff that I get into, whether it's photography, videography, editing, social media. There are a lot of things that I can do. The problem is that I tend to lack the confidence. So other people will say, hey, this guy's really good at what he does. I just think I'm a piece of shit and I don't know what I'm doing. Maybe I don't know what I'm doing, but I just don't feel that I'm as good as people say. I'm all right. That's how I see it. But other people disagree with that. They think I'm better than what I think I am, and maybe it's time for me to turn the fucking corner and finally realize, okay, hey bro, you got something going on here. You know what the fuck you're doing. I'm not going to sit here and be like, yo, I'm the best ever. I'm the greatest. I do it better than everybody else. I won't do that. I don't ever want to do that. I don't like to be that guy. But what I will say is that, yes, I will validate myself and say, I know what the fuck I'm doing. And I think that the presentation I do, no matter what it is, I think that it's a good presentation. Is it the best? No. But is it good? Yes. So there you go. See, I can in fact compliment myself. And I challenge you right now, before you go and click off the video, because we're still not done yet. We're probably about halfway through, if I'm being honest. I dare you to compliment yourself on something. Surprise yourself. Unless you have a big fucking massive ego and you're telling yourself every day that you're the fucking best ever. And if that works for you, that works for you. I'm not here to judge you on that. But if you're like me and you lack confidence, go fucking put yourself over. Go tell yourself that, hey, I can do cool stuff. I'm really good at what I do. And make yourself feel better, because when you go around the world acting like me, where you just think everything you do is just, it's all right. I guess I could do something. There's better ways to go about it, and I'm slowly but surely learning that. That trip was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun. We went and we tried a lot of cool food, because that's what my best friend and I do. We go to the beach to eat food. That's partially true. We go to the beach to eat good food, but we also go to meet people and hang out and just make memories. Every time we go, something fucking crazy happens. This year, it just so happened to be that the DJ that we had met 3 times prior invited us to his house for a cookout. That was this year's crazy thing that happened. And that was a lot of fun. And I was truly honored to have been invited. And we had a lot of fun. Him and his girlfriend were super kind. They were super welcoming. They had an amazing backyard. They had these cornfield looking things. I don't know if it was actually corn. Probably was. I don't know. The sunset was pretty awesome. Some lady rode by on a fucking horse. Brought the horse over for us to pet. Completely out of the fucking blue. A lot of fun. And then it was time to go home. We did not want to go home. Well, we did. We miss our girls and shit. But when you go to the beach, it's hard to go home. That is the one thing. I think when you go anywhere, right now I'm driving home. I will get into that in a second. But when you're driving home from a place like the beach, or you've been on a trip, it's yes, you want to go home because you gotta, go and clean stuff up and prepare to go back to normal life, quote unquote. But at the same time, you're man, I really don't want to leave this. It's fun. It's that's when you know you had fun, you made memories, and pretty much like you don't want to go home for that reason because you're having so much fun. Like, so much so that on that Sunday, we actually went and saw Bobby DJ at another place for like 2 or 3 hours before we left. Normally we'd leave earlier in the morning, and we decided to not leave. We decided to hang out a little bit longer, and we decided to hang out with him. And I actually blew off an Oasis concert to go hang out with him. That's how much I cherish the time that I had with my best friend, especially when it's a beach trip. I had, if you're living under a rock or you don't follow Oasis, they reunited back in early July for the first time, I think, in like 15 plus years. And they did a tour across Europe, and they came stateside about a week ago. They played, I think, like Chicago, Toronto, and then they were coming to East Rutherford, New Jersey. I did have tickets to the Monday, September 1 show for them. And I blew it off because my buddy said, hey, I'm getting a hotel. I want to go to the beach. Do you want to come with me? And I was like, yes, I'd like to come with you. So I went with him to the beach instead of going to Oasis, and I'm glad that I did. And besides, all the reviews on Oasis so far is that they're doing really good. Like, Liam sounds good with his voice. Him and his brother, they're not beating the shit out of each other on stage or cussing each other out. Like, by all accounts, not only are they doing good, but it's probably likely that they're going to do more. They're probably going to do another record. They're probably going to do another tour. And yes, while this could potentially be a once-in-a-lifetime thing that I blew, I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to prioritize friendships. I'm going to prioritize fun trips like that versus a concert, when in all actuality, they're probably going to do that again. So I will have another shot at it, and it'll be fine. So anyway, we get back, and I'm starting my week out, and, I've known that, for my job with Bubba, I knew that he had this premiere, event coming up that he's been promoting, and I wanted to be there, but I wasn't really sure if I necessarily was needed. And I kind of was reaching out to Lummy, like, hey, do you want video there? There was a photographer there, but there was not a video guy there. And basically, long story short, it was decided on Wednesday, 2 days after I got home from the beach, that yes, we would like Gary there to do videos. And on one end, it's like, wow, that's super last minute. But on the other end, I'm like, holy shit, I'm going to go down and go to Florida for a day. Literally a day. So I went down on Wednesday, stayed in South Carolina Wednesday night, then traveled down to Florida on Thursday, and left Florida on Saturday morning. Today is Sunday morning, and I just left South Carolina again. I've done the trip before, all in one. It can be done, but especially when I'm working like that, those were work days, and I still, I couldn't just not make videos for the social platforms, so it was a lot easier to split the trip up. Kudos to my wife for that idea, because I'm just fucking dumb. I would have just blasted through the full 14-hour trip in one day, because that's just what I do. But I went down to Florida, and it was a really fun event. And I was also, we talk again about, knowing what you can do, knowing your ability, knowing, that, hey, maybe you don't suck at what you do. You think, you might think that you're okay or that you suck or whatever, but other people are going to tell you otherwise. And there was just a lot of people throwing a lot of compliments that I was not prepared for. I was not prepared for them. And it's not that I don't appreciate them. I genuinely do, and it's probably stuff that I need to hear, because if I don't hear it, I'm just going to go on thinking that maybe I'm not great or nothing at what I do. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. In the last year or two, probably more like 2 years or whatever, I lost a lot of confidence when it comes to creating, when it comes to everything. I lost a lot of confidence. I mean, part of it was when I got laid off last year, there's one person that in that place that could have very easily said, hey, I know we're shutting down the printing division, but hey, we got this guy who really knows his way around social media. He knows his way around a camera. Why don't we see if there's something for him to do with that rather than just, putting him on the streets? And they didn't do that. And that, to me, I think was a big confidence loser. Understanding that I have all this ability. And this person, by the way, they know, what I can do. And at the time, this person knew that I had generated, I think by that point, well over 20 million views for Bubba. And you don't want that? You don't want to recommend that to people that are higher than you? Are you smoking crack? I mean, I'm just asking, what the fuck, man? I lost a lot of confidence over that, and maybe they'll do a fucking celebration dance now that I've made that admission on camera, but I don't give a fuck. How do you not recommend that? How do you not say, hey, this guy may have something. Let him sink or swim. Let's see what he's got. So, I mean, ultimately, I'm not going to sit here and say, man, I really wish it went that way. But that's how I felt at the moment. Because obviously things ended up a lot better. I ended up eventually going full-time with Bubba. We continue to grow all the social platforms. I think that he's seeing a real resurgence. And, more and more, we're landing on more and more people's homepages every day. I was in a restaurant for my birthday. My family took me out. And there was this girl there. She was 21. And she had saw me wearing a Bubba shirt and said, where do I know that name from? And I said, I don't know. We do YouTube. We got Facebook, TikTok. She says, TikTok. That's where I saw you. One of our videos landed on this girl's homepage. We're not, that's not our demographic, okay? I know I just started with the show full-time a few months ago, but I think I can confidently say a 21-year-old female is not in our fucking demographic. But what it tells me is that what I'm doing is landing our content on more homepages. That's huge. That's huge. She would tell me that she went on to go and follow the TikTok page and watch those videos. There are people that we're not going to convert to listen to the full 4-hour show. Because let's be real, there is an acquired audience for that, of people that, yes, they want to listen to a 4-hour program. Or maybe they go on our website, which, by the way, is BubbaArmyHQ.com, and maybe they want to listen to a podcast that may be an hour or 45 minutes, or maybe it's a 2-hour podcast, whatever that may be. But maybe they don't want to listen to a 4-hour show. Maybe they just want to go and watch a couple of 90-second videos. And so I'm slowly more and more getting people that are sharing stories like this with me, and people also that are just coming to me saying, hey man, you're doing a really good job. Keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a great job. And when you're a guy like me who got dumped on his ass a year ago, you lose all your confidence, you don't even want to think about picking up a camera, that kind of shit lifts me up. That's what I needed. That's what I needed to really just get the gears back in motion. Now, I realize that after I made my last video, I haven't made a video since then, but that's for just being super, super busy, not for necessarily not wanting to film or whatever. I did actually want to film some stuff at the beach when I was there, but I ultimately ended up not, just because I was really enjoying being in the moment, but also realizing that it's the end of the season there, and that by making that content, it's not really going to perform very well because, well, it's the end of the season. And while there are, off-season activities, it's also not like, it's still not going to do well. Now, some of you that have been following me for any amount of time know that I used to do content at that beach. In fact, there was a gentleman who walked up. This is the thing I wanted to say earlier, and I totally forgot about it. There was a guy who walked up. I wish I had his name. Actually, I think I wrote it down on my notepad here. Let's see. I'm going to see if I can pull this up. There was an older gentleman that walked up, and he mentioned to me that he thought that he recognized me. Let's see. Let me see if I can find it. Richard. His name was Richard. Richard, I don't think you're watching this video because I did not share this channel with you, mostly because I'm not doing anything with this channel right now, so why promote it? But Richard saw some of my videos in Ocean City, and he recognized my face. It was when Bobby actually dedicated an Oasis song to me because I had told him that, hey man, I blew off Oasis, which kind of baffled him. He's like, why would you blow off Oasis to be at the Plim Plaza on a Sunday afternoon hanging out with me? And I said, because I value these experiences more than I do concerts. So he threw up a song. He said, this goes out to Carrie, who, quote unquote, for some reason, decided to blow off Oasis to hang out with me. His exact words. So Richard walks over to me and says, hey, I knew that was you. When he said Gary, I knew that was you. You used to make videos in Ocean City with another guy. I said, yes, that is true. He wondered where those videos went. I gave him a very PC answer about that. Yes, there is a story there. I have really been mulling over whether or not to tell the story of why we don't make videos anymore, but I don't know if this is the avenue for that. But if I could just shorten it up nice and sweet for you, that guy is fucking tone deaf, and the text that I got for him 2 days after coming out of the hospital from nearly dying is not the kind of text that you want to send to somebody after they nearly fucking died in a hospital. Yeah. And my wife, she not too happy about that one. I had to stop her. I had to walk her off the cliff from writing a very scathing message in response to that text. And yeah, that was one day that story will come out. I don't think today is the day for that story. In fact, look at that. I think we're out of time. So let's go ahead and end the video right there. The moral of this story is don't text your family selfish shit 2 days after they nearly died in a fucking hospital. Believe in yourself a little bit more. Don't think like I do and think that everything you do sucks, when in reality, if it actually did suck, you probably would never do it again. You probably would never get numbers on your content. Believe in yourself more, and yeah, just try to do better. I really needed this trip to Florida this past weekend. Getting to see also my family in South Carolina was a true blessing, but visiting my friends down in Florida from the entire Bubba Radio Network crew that I work alongside with every day, and also just, friends, Bubba Army, and, people that genuinely appreciate not just me, but the entire Bubba Radio Network crew. I sincerely appreciate all of you. So I just want to say thank you so much. Thank you to everybody that I saw on Friday night at the premiere. Thank you for your kind words. You truly lifted me up. And stay tuned, because I've got a lot more stuff coming. I promise this is not the last. No, I'm not going to wait another month again. In fact, when I turn off the camera here, I'm going to film another video talking about the update on my Comma 3X, because people have been asking for an update on that. So, there you go. Appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for watching. And believe it or not, we will do more videos like this again, but very soon. And I think we're going to do a mix match between like actual content videos where I'm talking about products and stuff, but then also the one-on-one stuff we do right here. We're going to get into that as well. So appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for watching this video, because at 30 minutes in, if you're still watching, you are what I would define as a real one. And maybe you can drop a little comment below that says, real one, checking in, I'm still here, or whatever, however you want to phrase it. And thank you guys for watching. I truly appreciate it, and I will see you on the next video.